Thank you so much, Mr. Rika. And with these words, we've actually opened the conference. And in order to get into the sort of first part of thinking and talking about issues, we have decided to ease the way. As everybody knows, we can reach people with our words. And of course, everybody who's capable of doing so can read. But that's all very laborious. Best thing is to have a couple of videos. And a lot of learning and a lot of knowledge can also be transmitted these days via the internet, via short films. We have selected 8 short films for you, and we are almost on the verge of starting. I would like to invite you to see how some colleagues of the European Journalists Centre have actually demonstrated how to put across photographers on the net. I've got a couple of goose pimples at the back of my neck, but that, of course, is exactly what was intended. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the next video piece. There are 3 women. They all started to look around in their own countries. They decided to start a blog. They wrote about what they saw. And now their personal lives are endangered. They are the forbidden voices.
Ça fait quelque temps que j'ai pu parler avec Deng Jinyan sur Skype. On est vraiment très inquiet de sa situation.
Yoani Sanchez from Cuba could not be here.
The first time they brought me for interrogation, it was for hours non-stop. The main accusation was my blog. I never thought I would see a day that people die in the streets for the basic right of their existence.
Mi blog tiene 14 millones de hits al mes en el mundo.
Deng Jinyan, elle aborde des sujets que peu de personnes osent aborder.
Internet, cell phones, Twitter accounts, Facebook accounts, weblogs. The government did a total blockage.
These women receive death threats. They have been beaten, kidnapped, imprisoned.
说真话不仅仅需要勇气。
Time and again, these women have discovered a very simple truth. That courage can actually be contagious.
La vérité fait peur au régime totalitaire.
Forbiddenvoices.net, just have a look whenever you have time later on. Ladies and gentlemen, when I look around here, I almost think we wouldn't need the next film, because basically we have here a United Nations of interested people, people who are tolerant, people who are looking beyond borders. And this is exactly what is being expressed in our next video.
Sometimes I wonder if I stop and stare, what will I learn about you?
India,
Singapore,
Sweden, Mongolia,
Cambodia,
Malta,
Lithuania,
Malaysia,
Hungary,
Korea,
Italia, Japan, Russia,
Thailand, New Zealand,
United Kingdom, Poland, Vietnam,
Hola, España, Germany,
Laos,
Slovakia, France,
Estonia,
Czech Republic, Ireland,
Holland,
Belgium, Portugal,
Denmark, Brunei Darussalam, Philippines,
Luxembourg, Austria, Myanmar, Pakistan,
Indonesia,
Bulgaria,
Latvia,
Slovenia,
China,
Cyprus,
Romania,
Greece,
Finland, Australia.
We are strange and captivating. We are unique and inspiring. We find beauty in being different. That's how we're alike. And in the end, we are colors, you and I.
And a smile is a smile, never mind what color you have, what nation you come from, as long as you give me that smile. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how many of you know that the United Nations actually does also have a university, and I believe even here in Bonn we have a small institute belonging to that bigger entity. Now, this university has one part that concerns itself especially with environment and human society, and this is how they show their work in the net.
I find it just stunning to think that until the next asteroid slams into this planet, it's going to be people more than any other force in the universe, maybe, dictating the future course of life.
And we found this particular approach so fascinating that we've decided to give you another facet of how they are presenting their work for keeping biodiversity as much as possible.
Because the planet is now out of energy balance, it's clear that we're going to lose all the ice in the Arctic. So this should be the warning sign that people need in order to see that humans are taking over the future of the Earth's climate.
I don't know if I asked you what you associate with Delphi. You might say it's just a town in Greece, or you might say, oh, wasn't there the Delphi oracle and, you know, foam coming up and we could look into the future? Or today, a lot of people consider Delphi a system by which you can arrive at certain systematic answers once you've given the right info ahead. But Delphi stands for something completely different as well.
Once upon a time in ancient Greece, when body and mind lived in symbiosis. Fire, used as a symbol for the Olympic Games, they were dedicated for the competition in sports. water, used as a symbol for the Delphic Games. They were dedicated to arts and culture. Both took place for about 1,000 years until they became banned. In 1994, representatives of 20 countries founded the International Delphic Council in Berlin to start off the Delphic Games of the modern era. Since then, the IDC arranges for Delphic Games and Junior Delphic Games within a 4-year period.
Brilliant, because they'll be exposed all over the world. I think it's good, it's great, I'm very excited.
Similar to the Olympic Games for sports, the Delphic Games unites people of all nations and cultures through the fascination for the arts.
And now some of you, just as much as me beforehand, might have learned something new. Ladies and gentlemen, they didn't exist 15 years ago. The bloggers, of course. Technology makes it possible for each and every person to express their views in a systematic ways. Some of them are absolutely brilliant journalists. Some of them are lay people who have acquired a lot of knowledge. Some of them are doing a lot of social goods. And let me just quickly open a sort of square brackets. Tomorrow afternoon at 5:30 here in this arena, we will be giving out a number of awards to the best bloggers of this year's that Deutsche Welle has identified, and they're called the Bob Awards. So you're all invited to that. Having said that, blogger awards and blogger competitions are not new. And a couple of years ago, a number of European bloggers were asked to participate in a competition to write about the challenge of the MDGs. That was in 2010. That was 2 years ago. A week ago, we had World Refugee Day 2012. There are 9 million children alone in refugee camps all around the world. And when the UNHCR became 60 2 years ago, they also changed their campaigning. And this is the result.
day, thousands of people run from war, persecution, and terror. Even one is too many.
And the astonishing thing is, when you listen to Antonio Guterres, who is the head of UNHCR, he says that most of the refugees he's talked to will say the one thing that they want most is education. Education for their children, so that their children have a future. So the topic of this year's Global Media Forum is also reflected in the wishes of those who have a very, very limited access to life. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now coming almost to our keynote speaker of this morning, and I know he's already there, so I'm very, very happy about that. But before I introduce him, I would like you to know that, of course, being a media organization, we are also mirrored on the net. So if you want to follow the Deutsche Welle Global Media Forum for the next 3 days, and you don't have the chance to sit actually in that one plenary, or if you're not there when a panel discussion is taking place, then it's quite easy. You just look at Twitter, and of course it's #DWGMF, and you can follow. And last year, if I remember, it was a bit unofficial, but last year we had a lot of quotes for most of the panel discussions here reflected on Twitter. We're of course on Facebook. We of course have the normal website that you can find information, as most of you will have done before having come here. And of course, if you've missed something, and if you want to listen in, maybe afterwards, since you will probably have to leave and go back to Düsseldorf again, you can easily listen in because we have an audio offering afterwards.